The manufacture of passenger motor vehicles in Australia will finish by the end of 2017. Austrade has been working with many of those companies over recent years to help them access new customers in automotive, new markets in automotive, and even diversify out of automotive into other sectors.
The automotive sector in India is really going through a lot of rapid growth. We're up to about 3 million passenger vehicles per year, and India is predicted to become the fourth largest automotive market in the next 12 months. One of the interesting things is that there is a lot of room for growth still in India. At the moment, only 18 out of every 1,000 Indians actually possesses a motor vehicle. And in addition to that, what we're seeing is that the Modi government, through its Make in India campaign, is driving the automotive sector to actually move into the export market as well. So that's going to create even further impetus for growth.
In Indonesia, there's been growth of the automotive industry of about 20% a year since 2006. In Thailand, about 2 million vehicles are produced a year, and in Malaysia, there are about 800 components manufacturers in that country, so that by the year 2020, we believe there will be something like 500 million consumers in ASEAN.
A number of global vehicles, all their research and development and design have been done in Australia. Those skills can now be taken to the world, and we find, particularly from the Indian market and the Chinese market, they are demanding those sorts of skills from the Australian supply chain.
The Indian OEMs are now really focused on improving their competitiveness in a way that they weren't even 5 years ago. And that includes both new product competitiveness to make their offering more attractive to the consumer, as well as process improvements to make themselves more efficient and cost-effective.
There is still some demand for specific components which we can export to ASEAN. There's a growing use of off-road and four-wheel drive vehicles by the public, and that's creating a demand for the sorts of products that Australia has manufactured for many, many years. Lightweight materials for vehicles, clean car technologies, and specific design capabilities for individual components.
In less developed supply chains, particularly now in Asia, that design capability is still with the OEM, still with the vehicle manufacturer. However, within the next 2 or 3 model cycles, that design capability the OEMs will require to be embedded within the component supply chain. So the Australian companies now have that unique window of opportunity to take their design skills into equivalent component manufacturers within the Asian region.
They're making cars to be shipped around the region and around the world. So the market is much, much bigger, and to get into that market, generally speaking, you need to be there.
One of the key things when you realise you're part of the global supply chain is you need to keep making improvements of your product. What is it that the customer's looking for? What is that small improvement that places you ahead of the pack? It's not always on price. Yes, your quality's always got to be up there. And then they're looking for those other things that are on the fringes that make you a different supplier. Australia's less than 1% of global automotive manufacturing. If we can survive on 1% in Australia, all we need is less than 1 or 1% again, and we've doubled our business. That's a huge growth, so we don't need much to win business in Australia to be successful.
We have staff that work for Austrade across the region that understand this market very well. They speak the language, they know the manufacturers, they know the OEMs and Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3 suppliers. So those are the critical things that a manufacturer needs to know and the contacts they need to have in order to find their opportunity within that market.
MTM's 2 main streams are non-automotive business and automotive. We intend to stay in both markets. We're currently quoting on volumes for global vehicle platforms of 5 million plus units. That now makes us think differently about how we're going to manufacture those products. And in the non-automotive space, we've got more than a handful of products that we're looking at and talking to new manufacturers about opportunities. So we see a very bright future, and I hope other industries and suppliers see a very bright future also.